Previously on the CB550 and the other bike episode.
This old jalopy up. Really cheap. I mean, really cheap. Firstly, no keys, so I've got to get the ignition switch sorted out so I can get some power. Back brakes are solid. It's right underneath here is rotten, and we have actually cracked the locks. So that's now on. The next task is to take the seat off, the tank off, and start cleaning, really. I want the engine running before I do anything else to it. Voila, one nest. Okay, so ignition switch is on. I haven't got any snap-off bolts to put back on there, but to confuse any future thieves, I've changed the style of bolts. So if they happen to glance this at a side of the road, one or the other, they will just bring a set of spanners. I've had this happen before with a set of mirrors on my van. They thought they could nick the mirrors by bringing the tools that they knew they needed for a factory fit. What they didn't know was they were not factory fit mirrors, and I was a bodge artist and I just put some random screws. They never got my mirrors that day because they had the wrong tools. So to stop stuff from being nicked, confuse the thieves. If they're after something like for spares, then they know exactly what tools to bring because they've got the same vehicle sitting at home and they know what they need to pull off with. So if you change it around a bit, it confuses them, makes it just that tiny bit harder, and keeps them on the spot for a little bit longer of a length of time, so you can catch them in the act, like I did with my mirrors. It's on. Green light, orange light. And it fired. There you go. So steering lock as well. All we've got left to do now lock-wise is the seat, the side panel for the seat, and the fuel cap. I've already done the fuel cap, so we know that fit. It's a bit of a stiff fit, but it fit. So what's next? Waiting for the fuel pump. As soon as I get that fuel pump, I'll fit that, put some more fuel in. Once I've heard this run, I will then start stripping back all the rotten areas, wire brush. I'll hammer out the frame. I'm not going to do nothing else other than that. Free up the rear wheel. Now I want to mark this now. I can lay manual what I think I know what's wrong with that wheel. I've got a feeling, because he says the brakes just, when he put his foot down, they jammed and they stayed jammed. I've got a feeling, it's a drum, that the shoe has actually come off, and has the actual pad on the shoe has come off, and it's slid over the top of the other one and has wedged that up. And I tell you now, if that has happened, that's going to be a pig to get off. Right, Sunday. Not a lot I can do at the moment. You saw the actions of that engine in that badly made video, and this is the culprit. This is the fuel pump. It's jamming up. It'll go like the clappers, and it'll start to slow down, and then it'll stop, and then it gets very hot, and well, that's the end of that pump as far as I'm concerned. But not only that, when I pulled that white unit there, when I pulled that all apart, because I work in such chaos, maybe I shouldn't admit to this because my mate will give me a hard time about it later, I'm sure. But I threw a rubber seal away. That was quite important. So I've ordered another one of those for that, for this, to go in under it, and then hopefully we'll have this blinking thing running, and we can move on to the next stage, which is freeing off that back wheel and fixing the swing arm. Once I've got that part of it done, I'm going to put in for the application for a logbook, which I'm a bit stupid. I should have done that at the very beginning, really. So yeah, we'll get that sorted, and then once the logbook is in, we'll get the number plate dealt with, a new battery dealt with, and the red paint dealt with, and a CBT test dealt with. If somebody else hasn't already done their CBT and took ownership of it, then my CBT will wait. The tyres are not split. As far as I know, they're not anyway. No, they're not. I mean, they're pretty good tyres. Just starting to go to turn hard. But there's still life in them. So once the red paint has been sorted out, I'm going to clean up as much as I can, but I'm not going to go over the top with it. Like all this rust here, never going to get that clean. I'm hoping the forks don't extend past those scratches. If they don't, then we're alright, we can keep those, and we'll just put some gaiters around them. I think we'll be fine with that if that's the case. Other than that, there's not a lot else I can do to it. So until Tuesday, which is when this part's supposed to come, the guy who claims it's next day shipment, I paid for it Friday. He said, I'll put it in the post today and you'll get it on Tuesday. How's that next day? Well, they don't work on weekends, do they? I thought, no, you're posting it on Monday. Just say it the way it is, mate. So he'll put it in the post Monday. I should get it Tuesday. Whack that thing on. Pray to God it works, because I start to lose my patience with that. Okie dokes, Monday. Now I've decided, while I'm waiting for that pump to be delivered, which I'm 90% sure is the issue with the carburetor. What am I talking about? Injection system. Get it right. I've decided I'm going to try and tackle that back brake problem. There is no movement whatsoever on that back wheel. Now, the old boy told me that this came into his yard about 2 years ago, but the MOT dictates differently. Try 6 years ago. The lad literally rolled it in with a seized up back brake. He was under the impression, and I would have probably come to the same conclusion myself, that the shaft in here is seized up solid. I don't think that's the case. What I think has happened, because it really is jammed, is a brake shoe has actually severed from its housing. The pad has severed from the shoe block, or whatever you want to call it. That's my diagnosis on this. Now, I could be wrong, but that's what I think is going on. I also think that if that is the case, this hub is going to be a nightmare to remove, and I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to get it off without smashing it. I'm hoping I can. So what we're going to do, 2 jobs left to do on this other than the pump, and that is to get the swing arm removed so we can weld that up and clean it up and sort that hub out. Here we go. More. Yep. I'm very much willing to lay money on that. Well, I was wrong on that assessment. Because they are perfectly okay. So the old boy was right, the shaft is seized up on it. Yeah, it appears that that is the issue. This is seized up. Right, see if we can unseize it. I ain't even done up that. Right, so another very dry, extremely dry. There is, no there isn't, there should be a grease channel in there. But there isn't. No, it's yeah. There's a small grease channel in that. There you go. Well, message to the old boy, I know he watches. You were correct, and I was not. One working brake. What we are going to do, I ain't got no copper slip, unfortunately, which is a nuisance, because that's what I really need to be putting in there and a little bit in there, but I haven't got any. So I'm just going to have to smidge it with a film of grease, because we don't want to wear out the cam. But copper slip would be the best, because it won't, as far as I understand, it don't melt at the temperatures normal random grease do. This could run off onto the pads, this is what I'm concerned about, but I will be running the machine myself for a period of time to make sure it's safe. So the person that I'm planning to give this to, if he wants it, shouldn't come any harm, and I'm quite convinced that this will be safe to the road for other users that might be on the road with it. So that is the brake repair, which actually came out quicker than I anticipated. But now we're done that, this is all fully working. And you get that swing arm off now, because underneath there's a big plate and it's rotted in about 3 separate places, and I'm a bit concerned I may have to replace the whole swing arm. I'm hoping I don't have to. I'm hoping to cut that plate out and some steel around here somewhere, weld a new piece in. Did something similar to a moped, and as far as I know the moped's still on the road today, and that was 8-10 years ago. So next job. Oh, this is a problem. I can't get that swing arm bolt out. Seized. Absolutely solid. Now I was thinking to put the heat on that, but the problem with that is this rubber bushings, to the best of my knowledge. Possibly, not rubber, sorry, plastic, which will destroy them. I'm assuming that's what's in there. It could be bronze phosphor, but I'm not so convinced. But no, that bolt is refusing to budge, and I want a quick fix. So the only thing I can think of is to turn this thing upside down, quite literally take mirrors off, kick it over, get the welder out and do the work with it upside down. That way I don't have to remove it. If it doesn't need to be removed to be fixed, then that's fine with me, and then we can wire brush back what we can get to and clean that swing arm up a little bit. I was actually hoping to get it off. I really want that off, but it ain't budging at all. That bolt is solid. I don't know what's holding it in. Poop. Just for that, detach the battery and detach the mirrors and whip this thing over, because this is not passing an MOT with that bolt the way it is. Well, sorry, with that swing arm the way it is. It just isn't going to go through. I'll see if I can give you a view of what I was looking at earlier, because I've been standing in weeds and all sorts. There you go. That's what I'm looking at. So it's got to come off, hasn't it? Or at least get it upturned and cut away as much crap as I can. I think it's gone underneath in there as well by the look of it. See a little tiny hole there, I think. There you go, proper look now. We're alright on that inside edge, but we are gone there. So I'm going to have to cut that out there, right the way across there, over, and weld a big steel plate. Don't have any choice. I can't get that swing arm off. Not without destroying the frame or the swing arm itself, because one or the other's got to give in it when you put a grinder across things. So I think the easiest solution is just to do this and detach as much stuff as I can when it comes to wire brushing back. I'm not going to get to all of it, so there is going to be a lot of rust left when I paint up the swing arm. Nothing I can do about it, but I'm more concerned about oil pouring out of the engine. That's assuming there is some in the engine. So there you go. Right, we'll cut it all out, we'll ground it all down. It's quite bad, but I'm confident the actual tubes are fine. That's fairly thick old steel in there, be a little bit of rust still in there, but I'm going to make sure this is extra thick that goes on top anyway. So I've got some thicker steel that I've got sitting in the shed, but I just can't get the grinder in there, which is why I wanted that out, because I could have done a much better job. This goes back to a conversation I was talking about, possibly, I don't know if I kept the conversation on the video, but about welding up the CB550 frame for this very reason, to stop the water from getting inside, because once it gets in it starts to rot it, you can't stop it. So this just backs up really what I was thinking and what I thought would have been wise for the job. What I really need to do is get rid of that bit there, so back to it. Well, there's your first steel plate. Now we've just got to do another one for this side, and then we'll make the cap go over the top and we'll weld all the way around. But before we do that, we're going to grease up all the inside as well, just to protect it a little bit. And we've got a hole to drill for the rubber to go back down, and as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough. As long as it doesn't twist the swing arm out, I'll be happy. Repair number 2. There you go, guys, fully welded. I'm quite happy about that. I welded that plate on there because I know the metal's getting a bit thin around there, but that's good enough. I'm happy with that. I think it'll be strong enough. Just going to run the sander across that area there, but I think we'll, actually no, I'm not going to do no more to it actually, apart from put wire brush over it quickly before we turn it over. Or should I? Do you know what, I want to ride it, sod it. Yeah, we'll get wire brush around it. We need to really, we won't be able to get the nut otherwise. Right, moving on. Okay, so the back wheel's back in. I think I've retracked the spacers correctly so the wheel sits central. Just got to get some air in the tyres and set the brake. Still a bit stiff, but I think that'll free off as we start to ride it. So tomorrow, if I get the thing running, we'll take it over the fields, give it a good rip, see if it'll blow up. Swing arm is all fixed now, just really want some paint on it and we're good to go. Okay, we are getting close to the end of part 1. I'm just waiting for the fuel pump to turn up, and then I will put that in, put the tank back on, flush the petrol through, because I put it all in a filthy dirty can, so I've got to clean that, and then I'll put it in, fire it up, and if it runs I'm going to whip it over the fields with the battery half hanging out because it's the wrong battery for the bike. And once I've ridden it, buzzed it around the field a couple of times, we'll bring it back, we'll upload video, and in part 2 of this video we're going to apply for the logbook, get the number plate sorted out, and we're going to do the paint, clean it all up, get the frame wire brush back as much as I can. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm not going to be able to hide all of the rust because I can't get to it. So yeah, once we've done that bit, we will get the CBT sorted out and put this in for an MOT. I am so not impressed bike shop in Norwich, another one. This here fuel pump. I've got a cat scarping. It was in my... Hey, Sue! Anyway, look at the state of you. Where have you been hiding? Huh? Where have you been hiding? Some stray cat that keep coming visiting now and again. Munching on he's found something. Anyway, ordered this Friday. It's here. And yeah, this is a moan, this is a grumble, because I'm not happy. I paid £10 more for this than another one I saw, because this guy was offering next day delivery. I bought it about 3 in the afternoon on Friday. He finally made contact to me later on in the evening and said to me it's too late. I said I want next day postage. He said well, the company won't pick it up today. He said I'll put it in first thing tomorrow and you'll get it Tuesday. That didn't make a lot of sense to me, but I went with it. Monday, and the tracking order was given, so I waited all day Tuesday for this thing to turn up, watching the tracking going on. It's only got to go from Norwich to Ipswich. We're talking 1 hour drive on the road max, and probably around 40 mile, I think, 40 to 60 miles, something like that. It's not that far, really. It isn't. I could have driven up there and picked it up if I'd have realised it was Norwich. But anyway, it came today. It's Wednesday, so it's a day late. I said to the guy, it's a day late, you know, who delivered it. Yeah, so it is. Yeah, so it is. And I says to him, I go, just out of curiosity, when's the cut-off time for picking these up? What day? I said, Friday. I ordered this Friday. He turns around and said, yeah, we'd have picked it up any time during Friday, but we wouldn't have done anything with it Saturday or Sunday, but you'd have probably got it Monday. I'm hot and mad over this. You know, you pay the money, you want the service that you're paying for, don't you? That's as simple as that. That's how I've always seen stuff. When you run a business, you pay for what you get, and I paid extra money for that. So yeah, not happy, not impressed one little bit, and my rant is now over, because I want to put this together now, and whoops, and go out over the field if it's possible to do so. Now I've got to get rid of all this dust in here, because there's more dust, and we'll go from there. So back at the tiddlywink. Okay, so the tank's back on. Still got problems though. I think there's still a lot of crap in that tank. Maybe the pipes are blocked, I don't know. Something's still not right. What's that? No, I ain't doing it now. Before, when I was pulling the throttle back, it was just doing what it did before when you saw it on the last video. Now it's decided not to. There's a little bit of hesitation though. That could be that hole there's causing it. I mean, the exhaust unit's belting through that. And it's missing. So I'm going to take it over the field now. See if I can film some of it. I don't know if I'll be able to, but we'll have a go. I'm on my own. I remember I got a bloody back brake. I didn't set the back brake up. I remembered when I put my foot on the brake there was zip, nothing. So see if I can wind that in by hand. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Oh, hang on, I might be able to. Recording. Well, I think that's running quite good considering. Sender unit is even working to the best of my knowledge. Yeah, it's reading empty. Which it is. Okay, I don't know about the rest of the bike, lights and everything else. Let's have a look. Let's see what we need. Well, we've got no bloody horn. We know we've got headlight because that's on, yeah. No high and low though. Huh. Right. So we've got no main beam. What about brakes? Yep, we've got back brake there and back brake there. But we've got no main lights for some reason. Now we had them before. There's no hidden switch anywhere, is there? That's the horn. So we've got a side lamp, but we've got no high and low. Oh, how I hate electrics. I wonder if that's got anything to do with the fact that I've put a new ignition switch on. I suppose I could flick the switch over and just, you know, not switch it fully, unless there's something I'm missing. Is there something I'm missing? No, there's no switch there. Nothing on the engine, no, nothing on that key. I'm confused. So we absolutely do not have lights. I hate situations like this. Alright, well let's get her back to the shed. See if we can figure out what's going on. It was very likely that when I took the ignition switch off, it was slightly wired different. There is that possibility. It could be a case of just plonking. It could even be a shite earth. It could be anything really. I mean, look at the state of that frame. So the likelihood of it being an earth is quite high. So that's the end of part one, ladies and gents. I will then sort out the electrics in part two. We will apply, do you know what, I'll talk about this when we get back because the wind is too strong. Helps if you put the side stand up. Feel that chain slipping. Oh well, that's peculiar because I've got lights now. No high and low though. Back one working. Nope, still got nothing on the back. I could be blown bulbs, I suppose. Dodgy connections. We'll have a whole string of issues. Okay, well look, we've got it this far. We've got it from a 6-year stand around in a hedge. It was literally how I found it, in a hedge. It had vines growing through it. It had, oh Christ, it had walnuts, smashed walnuts. I ain't got, I think she's cleared them all up, but there you go. A whole stash of those. Inside the plastic we had mouse nests, we had everything. In the headlight there were spiders, had found their way in there, and nothing but corrosion everywhere. Now yeah, I didn't do a very good job of this tank because I hit it with a hammer. I know that, that's not what you do. I had intentions in replacing that tank. I actually ordered another tank, but it turned out to be the wrong one. Not only was it a Mark II, but it was a carburetted tank. It had a sender unit and a pep tap position. Not going to work for this machine. It's injection, and the injection pump and everything is in the centre. It's larger than the hole that was on the previous tank. I could live with the fact that it was a Mark II, but I couldn't live with the fact that I'd have to cut this one to rebuild the other one, and I thought it isn't worth the aggravation. It's going to cost me more money in order to get all the new plastics, and I don't really want to make this look any more modern because it isn't. So yeah, we may very well reuse that tank. We may fill it and live with it. It's no real big deal, but if I can find another tank for say under 40 quid, it's the same colour, obviously I'm going to buy it. The seat cover, well, we'll knock up something discreetly for that, and I'm just making my mind up at the moment whether I am going to sit there and hand sand this little lot down and repaint it, or if I'm just going to polish it. I don't know at this point in time. I don't know. We have got to replace the front forks because they are going to leak very soon because of these tears and scratches. There is a cheat available to me if I want, and that's to put filler in the holes, but that's just cheating, and that would be passing a bike on that somebody's going to have to pay out a lot of money later. So no, I want to make sure that this thing is going to be good to go for a good cut of the year without anyone having to work on it. The other problem I've now discovered is the back wheel. The cush drive system on the sprocket, it's not very good. You can feel there's a lot of movement now. I don't know if there's meant to be that amount of movement. There is a lot of cheats available to me to resolve that problem, but I may just go out and buy a new set of cush drives, cushions, whatever you call them. I think it's called a cush drive. I think that's what it is. It's suspension for the sprocket itself, you know, take some of the harshness so it don't stretch the chain, but that is really, really bad. Well, I think it is. But we'll look into it. I know an MOT man that would probably let that go through, but there's no way I want that going through. Look at that. I don't quite know what's going on there. Maybe I put the wheel back together wrong, I don't know. We'll have to have a look at that. So that's all for part 2. So we're going to sort the electrics out. We're going to start doing the paint, tidying up the frame. We'll get that hose sorted out one way or the other. We don't need it, so it's not staying. The seat's going to get sorted out, cush drive will get sorted out, the brakes will get tuned in, and if I can afford it, we'll sort the forks out and get it in for its MOT once I've got a logbook application made. So that, my dear friends, is the end of part 1 on the resurrection recommissioning of a ybr125. Nothing particularly special about it. I know that this doesn't interest a lot of people because a lot of you bikers are into the big boy machines and the old classics, but there is a reason for this, there is a purpose for this. Like there is a purpose for everything that I get up to. So I'll see you on the next one. Catch you later. Bye.